I could not be any more excited to introduce Pamela Haymes. When I first met her, she said, my friends called me Javid, so I'm very fortunate now to be able to call her Javid. But she is a true rock star, amazing with people that are dealing with cancer and are interested in different types of effectors that can help move the needle on making that shit go away. Javid, welcome.
Hi.
I'm going to ask you a question of how long you've been doing this?
In the 60s, I used to make salve at the end of the 60s. And it really helped a lot of people. And then I kind of moved away from it. But for years and years, I've been involved with it in some, well, doggone it, I've got cats. So
you've been doing this stuff. You've been doing this for a while, what it sounds like.
I've been doing it for a while. I've been serious about it for about 20 years and just started reading everything that I could because I had heard, like everybody else, that this can heal the body. And not just cancer, because in the very beginning, I wasn't so much involved with it with cancer as I was with being able for people to take it for pain and be able to get off of their painkillers. And then I had a girlfriend that had stomach cancer, and then I got really involved with it. Both my parents died of cancer.
Oh, sure.
My mother had breast cancer, metastasized to her liver. My father died of lung cancer, but he also had prostate cancer before that. And he really enjoyed smoking tobacco. I mean, he smoked like he meant it. And
my dad too. Yeah, died at 53.
My dad died at 87.
Wow, that's awesome.
So
good for him.
It was okay. He should have lived longer. All of his parents lived longer. My mother's parents lived into the 90s, but that's when food was different then, right? Now all of our food that we're getting, and it's compounded. It's not just one thing. They continually compound. Like they genetically modify the seeds, and not all genetically modified seeds are bad. But when they genetically modify them to put a particular chemical in it so that it will
be like bug resistant or something, right? I mean,
it's bug resistant, but then on top of that, it will never grow another plant from the seed. So the market of our foods is taken over by them controlling our foods, our seed sources.
So you're saying that they make it to where the seed can't reproduce. The seed that is produced by the fruit that they make can't be reproduced.
Yeah. It will not be reproduced. And it's the same thing
man. Jeez.
It's really bad. And then on top of that, when you see even in our organic foods now, they have the appeal, APEEL, that they take and coat on different fruits and vegetables in the stores. They don't do that when they're making like an apple juice or something like that. They don't do it then. But when you're purchasing a product, they no longer put wax on it. They're starting to take and put appeal on it. And appeal has chemicals in it that are cancer causing.
Can that wash off?
No, it doesn't wash off.
That's not good. Even organic?
It doesn't wash off. They put it on organic. That's what just freaked me out.
That's
organic. I picked up some avocado, and thank God avocado has a thick skin.
Yeah.
And like lemons, they're trying to keep the moisture in, but that's just a little tip of the iceberg of what they're trying to do. So we've got that. So we're racing against that with trying to teach our children how to be able to eat properly. And then we're fighting the
McDonald's,
the powers of be. Yeah, we're the lizards. I'd like to say the lizards.
Yeah.
We're fighting the lizards all the time of being able to not go through this. And this sounds like a conspiracy theory, but with all the AI things that are coming out in the next 10 years, where are people going to work?
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Any creative minds are being squashed.
And that's been going on for years because of profit. Everything is always over profit. what is it? Scarface was the one that said, first you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the women, right? So when you take and put all of those together, that's exactly how people view success. They don't, years ago, people had success by being at home and having a successful family. That is no longer a viable source. When World War II happened, we had Betty working in the planes, putting in the rivets and all that kind of stuff. And when she got out, or when the war stopped, they had the husband. Now she had a job. And they kept up with the Joneses now. This is a big deal. They have a two-money market, which they didn't have before. And then when that happened, then the kids started they were staying home alone.
And they went to started going to daycare and having somebody else take care.
They started to go to daycare, yep.
Yeah.
And then they started staying at home, and then it's progressively worked its way into getting worse and worse and worse. And here we are now, 30 years old people that don't know how to act.
Yeah.
It's a privilege.
They don't even know that they need to work. They don't think they need to work. They think somebody else is going to take care of that for them. You know,
they don't think they need to save.
Yeah. Oh, they spend every penny they make, right? I mean,
they spend every penny, and they talk about how they're going to invest, because that's the only way to make money is to invest, which they're right. But the way that our banking system also is being set up is that you don't need to save. You just have to be able to borrow.
You have to borrow.
And when you think about it, you don't own your house, you don't own your car, you don't own anything that you're paying on, you don't own.
Yeah, you barely own the food. Yeah, until you pay your credit card bill. You know?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So they kind of have us over the barrel on that.
So we're fucked.
I think that people are becoming more awake. Now, personally, I wish I could push my head back into the sand again and not know anything, just be totally ignorant. Oh my God. Do you think that I would just love that? To be happy, just a happy, cute person, you know?
Right.
And we were like that in the 60s and 70s. The beatniks were the ones that kind of pushed us into that kind of an era, and it took off. That was the nice thing. It took off, that it really was about caring for one another, and people don't care about each other anymore. Everybody's, because of our television programming, it's all about, it's fear-based. Even our shows that we see, the series that we look at, the movies that we see, the more juice of anxiety in watching that show that we give ourselves, the more addictive it becomes. And after a while, you just don't want to watch a family show. You want to watch something that, you know, Jason Statham is knocking the crap out of somebody, which I just love to watch. But that's beside the point. That's kind of like, people don't recognize that they're getting a juice out of that. Everything has juice. Everything. So we're chemically bound to our bodies and how to be able to take care of ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, as well as spiritually. All of those things have to have a really good balance, and none of them is number one on the list. They change out all day long. So if we're taking and trying to help our children, how to be able to take care of themselves, teach them about their food, teach them about all of these most important basic things, water, food, and where you live. And where you live really does have consequences on your psyche. Is it noisy all the time? Or do you have light pollution all the time? You know, there's how much nature and natural things are you looking at? Then, because that's a foundation in our lives. And that's what we want to teach our children, is to be able to have that kind of foundation. But it just, you have grounded, to create it. Yeah, to be grounded. And you have to create that for your children. It just doesn't automatically happen. You know,
it's the opposite of that. They fight. They they dig a huge hole, and we got to fill the hole and then start at ground level, even because it's so regressive. Right now it is. Like I said, that's the negative side of it. But
the kid has to fill the hole. Otherwise, it will still do the same thing over and over again.
They'll never know how to be out of the hole if they don't.
They'll never know how to be out of the hole.
Yeah.
So if you're teaching them what's really healthy to eat and what isn't, what herbs to be able to take, because our pharmaceutical companies have taken over all of our herbs and synthesized them. In the site, I took and put, and this is just one of thousands of things, is that Valium comes from the valerian plant, and they synthesize that, and now you get to pay big bucks for Valium.
But you can just use the Valeria plant.
You can use the Valeria plant. Valerian with an N. Yeah, Valerian. And the very first pill that was ever made was during the prohibition of cannabis, and just at the tail end, they made a aspirin, and it was synthesized.
When you say synthesized, can you explain that a little bit for the listeners?
It's chemically, it's a chemical. Is basically.
Is it like Delta 9?
It's like, well, no, Delta 9 is THC. Delta 8.
Delta 8 is a synthesized.
Now the plant makes Delta 8, but it doesn't make very much of it. Am I right about that, Justin?
Yeah, so there's synthetic, semi-synthetic, and natural. So like Delta 8 can either be natural, extracted from the plant, but because it doesn't make large quantities, it can be semi-synthetically produced from CBD. And then fully synthetic is where they're starting with usually like petroleum derived chemicals, and then they use a bunch of like an 8-step process of using different enzymes and catalysts to convert it. So like with aspirin, it was like from willow bark, I believe.
White willow bark.
Willow. Then that would be like the pure natural form, but then they found a way to synthetically get to that same compound. And it's the same with Delta 9 THC. That can be made 100% synthetically without the cannabis plant at all, which is what Marinol is, 100% synthetic. Or you can get it naturally from the cannabis plant. And in general, natural does seem to be the way to go, even above semi-synthetic. The less synthesis you can have, the better.
Yeah, but so back to the aspirin. Yeah. Back to the aspirin, what was the driving force of that? I mean, was it to supplement the ban on cannabis?
Well, everything. No, not really. It was, who knows? There could have been a thread in there someplace, or somebody's thought, had come about that. But it happened towards the end. It was the very first pill, because everything else was in elixirs, in infusions, and in tinctures at the time. Everything.
All bottles I see now, anything I see from the 1800s, everything was. And honestly, that is more instead of like one pill fits all. Feck off, right? What the hell is wrong with? What's up with that, man? And I've always got to go through and read those like directions, and it's like, really, one size fits all. Okay, right on.
Well, they do that with chemotherapy too. One size fits all. They go, oh, this lot of people have this, so all of these people are going to get the same type of chemotherapy.
Yeah.
And then if that doesn't work, then we'll go into experimental.
Yeah. And then after that, then they get the dire diagnosis that it's not working, and then they come find us. That's what we.
Then they come and find us. Exactly.
They need to find us first.
They got to find us first. Find us.
Well, that's why we're getting loud about it. Come, if you are in the audience, I'm going to interrupt for a second. If you are in the audience watching, which we are getting some good comments in here, please, if you are facing a cancer diagnosis, go to fecoplaybook.org and let us educate you on natural ways to battle before you start chemo.
Yeah.
It'll help.
I see people on the Cannabis Oil Success Story site. They come in there and they say that they haven't had the results in yet, but they're preparing themselves. So they want to know what to be able to take. Will it be okay to take with chemotherapy?
Oh my God.
Is it okay to blah, blah, blah? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I cannot be a person to tell them what they need to do. I can only suggest to them. and give them the protocol and say, look at this and look at this. Here, look at these successes, and coax that way. My brother has lung cancer, and he's doing chemo and radiation, and he's going through the same things that everybody goes through, where they have the white cell blood count is real low. Their potassium is low. They got to be hospitalized and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no.
High fever, the port gets shit in it,
Yeah. My best friend we just lost my best friend to both. She did both. She did the FECO and the chemo and radiation.
Oh, it's not 100%.
I don't tell people what to do.
I tell people that all the time. I say, hey, nothing is 100%. Chemo is not 100%. Cannabis oil is not 100%, but the more things that you can put in that health tool belt, the likelihood of you snapping out of this is going to be pretty good.
Like what you said from the very beginning, Javid, is that we're all about making your body stronger and healthier. That's what it's all about. The word homeostasis just speaks volumes of how to
it's
be
so
healthy.
Important. As you get older, we have our body used as an example is that we're just a big giant puzzle with a whole bunch of pieces missing. And as you get older, you have less, the pieces begin to disappear more and more. And that's our immune system. So what we do is, when we were young, we just did anything, ate anything, went anywhere, drank whatever, blah, blah, blah. And as we got older, then we had become a little more conscious about all of this, conscientious about it. But you really we're not snapping into knowing that we really have to stretch out and use the things around us to be able to boost our immune system so that our body doesn't get cancer, because that's how things work. Is that when the immune system grabs a hold of that cancer cell, because I have 100 cancer cells flowing in my system right now. Everybody has that. And so our immune system picks those things off. And when it doesn't pick them off, then you know that your immune system is becoming weaker and a little more flawed. So we have to build that up by eating better foods compared to what we did when we were younger. So now is the real time to be able to do it. But teach your kids now. Because they're going to go through the wave of eating crap, and then they're going to go into eating real healthy. But because that's what we do, we're always testing things. But you want them to be able to land back on the
healthy,
on the healthy side of everything. That's the ideal thing, is that when we can take and pick and choose, more people eat out than ever before. It used to be people would eat out maybe 2 or 3 times a month, and now people are eating out for breakfast, lunch, and every other dinner.
Every meal, think about that. Yeah.
When people are sick, because I work with a lot of people that are ill, I'll tell them, hey, if you want to go out, go to Chipotle's.
Yeah, because they cook the food.
Something really good. They cook the food. Their stuff is really good. They do a lot of
fresh options.
Yep. Another one is Olive Garden. I like their soup and salad. When people are sick, you want them to be able to get out. That's the thing, is people don't get out. And they stay at home. They're miserable. They don't know what to eat. They're blah, blah, blah. And that's why the cookbook, the dipping sauces, was so important, was let's bring our appetite. Let's give you something that you'll like. You have your taste buds spark.
Yeah,
and
Jamie, we should do a big thing on food more, especially after talking with Javid here. We should really emphasize food, because food is prevention, right? I mean, everything that we're doing, we're building, we collect stories, we do the research, we present playbooks, but the ultimate end result is prevention. I mean, ultimately, you don't want to say
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. It is prevention.
Yep. And prevention, and I learned this early on, starting early recognition is critical. I found out that catching it at stage 3 before stage 4 is prevention. You are preventing it there. But, of course, the best thing to do is not get it. But like everybody knows, we all have cancer. Is it active or not? And it's everybody's got a different degree of it in a different part of their body. And like I said, if the body's fighting it and doing what it's supposed to do, you're good. Yeah. But you don't want to let that guard down. definitely. It's
the immune system is everything. Without your immune system, we're dead. Well, let's break it down and understand what a distillate is, rather than let the other people in the audience kind of like shake their head and not know what it really is. Justin, I know that you know what a distillate is, isn't it?
Yeah, basically more processed, an ultra processed form of FECO, essentially, where you're getting the THC like 95% or above by removing, the waxes, other cannabinoids, other terpenes, and it's like a way to hyper purify it. And then the level even beyond that is like the diamonds, where you get to like 99.9% THC, which I feel like is not so therapeutic and probably is overstimulating the endocannabinoid system, frankly.
What's the difference between distillate and isolate?
Day.
What about distillate and isolate? I thought isolate was where it isolated one particular one. Well, what is the difference in a distillate from an isolate?
Is one with heat, and the other one is with
isolate uses distillate. You can still make, I feel, with relatively low grade technology. If you get to isolate, where you're getting like, basically 100% of a cannabinoid, with CBD isolate is pretty popular. You need some heavy duty machinery and chemicals to do that.
Yeah.
You can't, like distillate, you can still use like butane and like hyper purify it by like running it multiple times. But isolate, you need to do further processing to really get out everything and truly isolate one compound, which I feel like is the least therapeutic of all the cannabis products. Distillate's better than isolate, and then FECO is better than distillate. It's kind of the latter there.
So it's full spectrum, because we're still using machines, full spectrum to a distillate to an isolate.
Yes.
So spectrum's better, although it's not FECO, but spectrum is better than the other two below that, because they've gone and they've purified it to a point that it's no longer medicine, it's just get high.
Exactly.
And that's like like what Jack taught me when I went and visited him, which is a dangerous, scary thing, by the way. That he showed me what the quick soak was, but also he gave me the syringe. Not the syringe of green stuff, but which is like made me see really weird shit for the next 4 or 5 hours. But I did everything I was supposed to do, like a good being mentored should be. And so then we went over this quick soak, and he said, "This is quick soak. It's in the freezer. There's going to be no chlorophyll at all." He goes, then we're going to make it FECO out of it. I'm going to do it in about an hour. We'll be able to smoke this. It tastes good. It smells good. It works good, but it's recreational. He goes, now this other stuff is what I've been doing for 30 days. It soaks down and it builds up this a whole nother cannabinoid profile. You get a much less THC than it was on the 3-minute one, but you get everything else rises to the top and really lifts the cannabinoid, which is awesome. I mean, and so I use that similar process also. I'm interested to find out what other people like when people get it made. I've heard comments from good friends of mine that are really relevant in the business that they make FECO out of trim. And I'm like, but what if your mother was dying? Would you make her medicine out of trim?
Hey, there's some really good, when you think about it, it's fairly strong. Trim is just, you're just cutting off all the
it still has all the cannabinoids in it.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people that, because they don't have a lot of money, that they will take the trim. That's what they want. They want the trim.
But other than that, using it, that's not something that you would go, oh my God, like would it fit in your FECO standard? Like when, all the different lab reports I've got and combined them, and, they all have, and honestly, that's what we need to test. If people that are using trim, what kind of results are they getting? Right. I mean, that's probably the bottom line.
I have heard people say that they've gotten really good results, meaning
pretty good results
in the cannabinoid content, that they had gotten really good results. And it's the same thing with people that soak a long time, which I do, that you get lower on the THC, but there's something about it that you get a better array of all the other cannabinoids. So Jack and I we've done it the same way for years. And you have a better medicine. Now, people always look at is that real high in THC? Well, it could be higher if we just did this, but rather we soaked it for a while,
right.
Purposefully done.
And if they're asking that, that's for them to get high, right? I mean, that's the only reason you would ask that question.
No, so they're asking the same reason why other people would ask, is that they want to know which one is the strongest for their medication.
Okay. But what you're saying is that the THC is not that answer. It's the entourage effect. It's like 70% THC and 0% everything else. It'd be better to have 60% THC and 3% everything else, right? I mean,
to have something. Usually a plant will give you a certain amount of CBD no matter what. I've only seen one time where there was no CBD in it whatsoever. And which is, to me, I've never seen that. That was the first time. And but yeah, I prefer having the plant be older. I like it to be grown outdoors. There's something about the cannabinoids, is you have a better CBG that's in it at that time. There's just a number of things that I like about outdoors compared to indoors. And indoors is great, don't get me wrong. If you do it right and you're doing it organically,
right?
No, it's still good, but there's something about sunshine.
I've heard that from multiple people. Yeah. I've heard it from multiple people.
Yeah, there's something about sunshine that just makes the plant a better medicine, is what I want to say. It makes a better medicine. If everybody could grow their own and be able to soak their stuff for a little bit longer, be able to juice the leaves. I mean, if we should be able to just juice the leaves and give the kids, here's some juice.
I mean, it's not even
ridiculous.
It won't even get them high.
No, it doesn't get you high. That's, it's THCA, along with all the other cannabinoids at the same time. But they won't do that. Sativas have a good amount of CBD in it. So when there's a crossover of more indica than sativa, because everything is hybrid out, seem like anymore, you have a better array of CBD that's in it. Yeah.
But you don't want to, damn sure don't want to do any of that at night, right? I mean, you don't want to do any Tifeco at night. You're going to be bouncing off the walls, is what I've experienced a little bit. A
small amount. It's because everything is hybrid, so you still have a small amount of sativa in it. And it's really not about sativa. It's more about, there's a certain terpene. Is it the lemon?
Really? Okay.
Usually pinene. Pinene seems to be the big one. Alpha pinene seems to be the one in sativas that's most responsible for like anxiety and keeping people up a lot. But limonene and beta caryophyllene might also be at play. But it seems like, in my experience, that alpha pinene, even more than beta pinene, seems to be like the chief offender.
Yeah. Because I have people that complain about that all the time. But thank you.
So, but here's a good question. If someone does have a sativa that's rich in that terpene, I feel like I haven't really seen too much about this, but it seems like they could either use an indica combined with it, or inhale like essential oils, or take other herbs that are rich in like linalool or myrcene to counter it. That's could be an option. I mean, in the same way that people like chew on peppercorns to counter THC, there's other pharmacological things people can do if you don't have the perfect oil, there's things you can do to mitigate it.
Citicoline. If you can take 1,000 milligrams of citicoline 25 minutes before you take your THC or your cannabis oil, it doesn't negate the high completely, but it does take the edging off, which is a big deal. Everything is imperfect, is what I like to say, except cannabis. Everything else is imperfect.
So let's talk about the playbook. I called you a couple of years ago. You used to chew me out and almost kick me off a cannabis oil success story because I was asking so many stupid questions over and over again. Trying to do what I do is trying to get the answer I wanted to hear. So then we started working together, and honestly, my reasoning behind it was to help help you and Jack. I knew you guys do so much, and you do so many things that are, risking your livelihood, and you're like, feck off, basically, to the world, about it. And you'll do whatever it takes to help people out. And I thought, for one thing, you're not going to be around forever, because nobody's going to be around forever. But then also I thought, how can we replicate what you and Jack are doing? And the best thing I came up with, and what we came up with, was the FECO playbook. And we're pretty excited. We're pretty excited about it. Marzov has us on with a research team. He put us together with these guys that have been at MIT for 25 years. Yeah. Also, I want to talk about frequency with you before we finish this. So one of the researchers' name is Bill, and Bill's very into the frequency. And then this whole thing started with, I thought FECO and frequency could be the almighty vinyl cure. You know what I mean? I don't think there is that, but I thought it stands the chance of actually being as close to anything ever getting close to that. And
I always call it remission. And then after you've been in remission for 6 years or, then you're cured. Okay. But you still know that your immune system is flawed. So you keep up the same thing that you were doing before. Because
it let it happen at once, so it's flawed. So you got to supplement it, right?
I'm not saying it'll happen again, but if you didn't like the ride that you just went on when you had the cancer, then you can alleviate that kind of getting cancer again. Just keep up the good work that you had been doing all along. You've already in the groove. Why stop?
Yeah, supporting your immune system, like you said, keeping your body in homeostasis, letting it fight the fight. Yep. Yeah, and I think frequency does that. I mean, I'm jumping right over to that now, because I know you're a big believer in Royal Rife and Nikola Tesla, and we're right now just bringing it. Neither Jamie or Justin are too familiar with it. I mean, and so when I bring it up, I don't have a lot of support. And I'm really searching for that, because I know it works. I've experienced. I
figured you'd have people in there where you live that you would find hiding. Places around there.
Everybody's hiding. Yeah, I have one, but she's in Destin, Florida. I have another one, but they don't do any diagnostic at all. They have a Rife machine, but the Rife machine is just for repair. It's just the plasma tube. I have that at my house. So we need people with the diagnostic tools, and it's not FDA approved, and you're not legally. Most of the people that do it are RNs, and the RNs are concerned about their losing a license.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we need a network of people that aren't RNs, because you don't need to be a registered nurse to do it. You just need to be a registered nurse to have the attitude to do it.
You just have to know how. You have to know how to do it. That's all.
Yeah,
Skip all that other stuff. You just need to know how to do that.
Yeah, you're right. We could bypass all this stuff, because there is a guy named Huff that we're working with in Poland that I just bought a machine from, that's very, very much knows how to do it, and he trains you. And all the machines come from Poland. If they don't come from Eastern Europe, it's not a good machine. They have to come from. Yeah, they have to come. Eastern Europe is, like you said, they go into the doctor's office and they do bioresonance. Right away. They don't even ask you, how do you feel, which is the most stupid question to ask you when you walk into a doctor's office, because you should say, I'm fucking anxious as I have ever been, because I'm in a doctor's office. And the problem is, I think I'm the smartest person in the room.
Isn't that sad? That's the sad thing. I'll go down to MD Anderson with people that they don't have anybody. So I'll go down with them and kind of be their advocate. And I don't care. I'll tell the doctor anything I want. Never mention cannabis, but I'll tell them that, hey, wait a minute. We haven't made any decisions like that yet. When they try to do the hurry up kind of thing, I go, no. We're going to go home and we're going to discuss this, and we'll do a follow up, because I can fire that guy on the spot. Well, she can, or he can. He can fire them right now, and they have to leave the office, because renting that office right now, they can leave the office, and you can get the police to come in to have them leave your room, not the office, but your room. People don't realize the type of power that you have. And we have very little when it comes to the medical system, but we can be kind and let the doctor know that, no, we're not going to do that, but we would like to do this instead. This is what we've come up with.
Yeah. And it's like a integrative medicine plan, and kind of what the playbook is. It gives you, and Jack explains it like you did, tools and resources. You got to do the work. You know?
Yeah. Well, that tells your brain that you're willing. You know, people, I want to say they'll snap out of it, but they won't. You have these significant emotional experiences in your life. It's called a CE, an SEE. And those things change your life. And illness is one thing, you know, changing a job. There's all these different things that go through our psyche that changes us at the core. And that's where some people they got scared and they have their hair turned white. They had a significant emotional experience. So with people, when you get cancer, there's a reason why. Then you have to learn the lesson that goes along with that as you heal. And if you're letting someone else do everything for you, then you're passing up that lesson. And you're staying in the same stream, that mental attitude, same stream of not helping yourself at all. They continue down the same road that they had been, rather than let's start meditating. Let's go to prayer. Let's put the good things around us. Let's sit in some sunshine 15 minutes a day. Let me take the oxygen mask and put it on myself rather than put it on someone else all the time. It's my turn, and put it at that direction. But people don't. They want
to wisdom.
They just freak the hell out. Yeah. You know, and we're all about patient autonomy. We really want patients to own it, you know, and if you do have the right attitude, and you said you do change your diet, and you do, and I'm one of them. You've seen me over the last 2 or 3 years, you know, every time I go to the doctor, I'm always like, okay, I'm going to get really healthy for a month. You know, I'm going to get a blood test, you know, and it's like afterwards, like, I'm all good. I'm going to go drink a bottle of wine, you know.
You know, so many people are like that, Jim. So many people are like that. And it should be a treat. If you're going to do something, then have it be a treat.
Yeah.
You know, people say, oh, that's going to be great. Well, I'm going to have ice cream. They have ice cream all the time. Or they'll drink wine, or they've got something else that they really like. What is it? McDonald's French fries. Hot damn. God. More salt, please. Dump that salt on there. You know, those people that salt those fries at McDonald's should be working someplace like in Detroit, salting the streets. So much stuff on there.
I like that.
Hire that guy. Hire him. But,
I know, but when they're hot and salted, yes, right? Yeah, that's like that should be illegal. I know.
I'm telling you, no. Not only are the potatoes poisonous, they have to wait 2 weeks before they can even process them to get rid of all the gases and the nasty crap that's in the potato.
So talk about frequency a little bit more.
Yeah, I want to show you. I'm gonna yank out the machines that I have.
Yeah.
So because people are watching, so they'll be able to see these certain things that they can get.
I'm going to show while you're getting those. I'm going to show what mine is. I think I've shown it before. This is it's a MOPA 4000. It's you can see the plasma tube at the top. This part here is the machine that generates the frequency, and then there's
put it closer. Can you put your camera closer?
Can you guys?
We want to see detail.
Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's this generator down here that you type in your frequency to. You type in the frequency, and then it comes through this amplifier and to this bulb, to this plasma bulb. Depending on what I like to do is I like to do sweeps. Sweeps are like from 1385 to 1397. You know, it covers a pretty wide range. Just like Jack says, more darts the better, right?
Yeah.
It's the full spectrum version of frequency, essentially.
100%. Yeah. Full extract version. Full extract
version. Yeah. That's right.
Okay, Javid, let's see your toys.
So I was going to put together my colloidal silver little thing that I've got. I put it in a cigar box. And I've got my little rods, right? These are my silver rods. They're 99.9.9.9.9, whatever.
I thought they were chopsticks.
They're things for my hair. And then you need 3 9-volt batteries. That's all you need. And then you take and you put them on. I don't want to put them on because then, like I did before, I ran them out. And then you put them on the clips.
Or you could use that as a roach clip.
You use the silver. Well, these have not been used as a roach clip.
Yeah.
But you put the silver on this. You put the silver in your water, the rods in your water, and then you can watch it. Literally, it will turn. It'll have a little bit of a tea kind of color to it. And
I love tea.
And it's a 10% is what you get down to. And it takes 15 minutes. They say do it for 15 minutes.
Okay, so the frequency,
that's impossible.
The combination of the frequency and FECO, why I think that works. What I believe works is that I think FECO has the ability to identify what's bad and good. I think that's the difference in FECO and Western medicine.
It definitely can.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing with FECO and frequency, combining them, is the FECO goes out and does the work. It finds what's causing the problem, and the frequency goes in and blows that shit up. That's my philosophy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sticking with it. That's that kind of, but I honestly really think that's a big part of what it is.
This is an ozone. I think I told you about this. This is how you can oxygenate your water.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Is it like a Kangen?
It goes
Kangen
like this.
machine?
That's all. No, it doesn't do it like that. Although it does purify. Don't get me wrong.
That's alkaline. That's alkaline, right?
That's raising the pH.
Yeah, that's alkaline. This is an oxygenator, so it's oxygenating your water. And you can also take and just run this thing, and it'll oxygenate in your bathroom. You can hang it on your wall. So this is one, and it's only like $60. Okay. And it has all these different directions on what you might want to use it for. Oxygenate. It'll take in all the smells out of your room. If your room smells, you plug this in, and 15 minutes later, your dog pooped over there. 15 minutes later, it's gone.
It's an ozone generator.
Yes.
Yeah. I use them. Those are awesome. I've got 15 or 20 of them. We use them in our business when cars get flood damage or something like that, or fire. If your car's in a fire and it gets smoke inside, you can close the windows and turn that generator on for 24 hours. What it does is it kills the oxygen, and bacteria needs oxygen to live. So it dies. Freaking genius. Yeah. Cool stuff. That's really neat, Javid.
I'm thinking about what you said. So there's that. So I have a magnetic pulsar. So I've got this, and you lay this on your body, and it's one of the coils that you have seen on, Einstein, Tesla had invented something like this, and it's a coil that you put on your body.
Yeah, and it's just for frequency?
Just for frequency. You plug it in, you charge it up, then you can put it wherever you have an illness of whatever.
Any kind of pain or anything like that.
The dis-ease, yes.
Wow.
And this is supposed to be the cancer killer also. It's very similar. This is really nice because it's hand, and you can take and direct it exactly where you want it to go to for your illness. Or dis-ease, whatever that is, the dis-ease. And these are real handy. I'd love to have the one that Jim has, but I can't sell 3 or 4 cars in order for me to acquire something like that. But yeah, my savings account is limited. So this cost about $300. And
I've heard great things about those.
It's really handy because it's spot. So it's like if you have breast cancer, you take and prop that thing up, and it sits in that one spot right there.
Right. Yeah.
So, or if you're sore, you have something wrong with your back, blah, 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 your muscle does. You shine it there.
Yeah.
This is really nice. This is a nice piece.
Well, this has been an amazing Feck Off Friday. I was looking forward to it. Javid, you're awesome. I love you. You're just amazing. You're so helpful. If anybody has any questions about anything that Javid talked about, she'd be more than glad to talk to you. And you can reach out to us through the website or through her. She's on multiple Facebook pages, Cannabis Oil Success Stories, Cannabis for Pets, Feckle Playbook. Any other ones that you want to mention? That
COPD, cannabis COPD, glioblastoma. It's also the.
Okay. Oh my.
I've seen you there. Yeah. I try to gather as much information as I can. Research. I love it. It's like,
damn good at
I want to prove them wrong, but I never can. I never can.
Ends.
That's right.
It's a fun game. I'm glad I'm in the game with you, and I'm on your same team. So,
well, you guys can invite me anytime. This was really fun, and we only just touched the tip of the iceberg. You know,
barely got it.
Yeah,
we'll have you on again for sure. Like, this has been great.
I love it.
Beautiful day. Have a great day, Javid. Thank you so much.
I will. It's sunshine. You guys have a good one. I had fun.